I would like now to recognize the Majority Floor Leader, Councilor Franz Pumaren.
Thank you, Mr. Presiding Officer. The 21st City Council is ready to hear the second State of the City address of our City Mayor, Mayor Joy Belmonte Alimurong.
Please take your seats, colleagues. Our dear beloved people of Quezon City, Vice Mayor Gian Soto, Congressman Kit Belmonte, Majority Floor Leader Franz Pumaren, Minority Floor Leader Eric Medina, beloved City Councilors, my executive family led by City Administrator Michael Alimurong and the Secretary to the Mayor RJ Belmonte, Quezon City Police District Director General Ronnie Montejo, sir, partners and honored guests, isang magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. Alam naman natin ang matinding pagsubok na dulot ng COVID-19 na gumambala sa ating lahat. Across the world, more than 1 million people died. The death toll includes thousands in our own country. The virus continues to rage on, which is why this hall is sparsely filled, and I speak to you from a video stream. Yet despite everything, this amazing city persevered. We've witnessed incredible heroism from our workers. They resolutely fulfill their duties even in the face of mortal danger. Sadly, 2 of our barangay captains and a few of our city's frontliners have already succumbed during this pandemic. They died because they refused to stay sheltered in their homes. Instead, they continued to go door to door, distributing food and supplies and caring for the needy until they were struck down. Sa kabila ng matinding panganib, ang nangibabaw sa kanila ay ang matinding pagmamahal sa kapwa at sa bayan. Marami pang nagsasakripisyo tulad nila. The janitor walking many miles to work because public transportation was suspended. The teacher at her wit's end, devising ways to hold the attention of children during distance learning. The nurse who is unable to hug her children when she returns home from a long shift in the hospital. Please know that your sacrifices were not in vain. Shortly after the beginning of the pandemic, the city ranked 3rd in NCR in the number of COVID-19 cases per capita. Now, through all of your hard work, the city has gone down to number 15 out of 17 NCR LGUs in cases per capita. Lubos ko pong ikinagagalak na ibalita sa inyo na as of October 10, ang recovery rate natin ay nasa 85%. At nasa 9% na lamang po ang ating positivity rate, down from almost 20%. Nang dahil sa sakripisyo ng lahat, unti-unti na nating napapaamo itong halimaw na pandemyang ito. Nagawa nating proteksyonan ang kalusugan at buhay ng ating mga mamamayan habang sinasangga naman ang dagok na pangkabuhayan ng bawat isa. A long struggle lies ahead to bring back lost jobs and invigorate ailing commerce. In these challenging times, I steel myself with the memory of my mother's words. Service means living a life of duty and sacrifice. Tama siya. Duty and sacrifice is what keeps our doctors and nurses on their feet even into the wee hours, toiling over their suffering patients. Duty and sacrifice is why our tanods patrol the streets under the hot sun or in cold night. Duty and sacrifice is what so many of you freely give to keep your city afloat, to save the lives of our people. Kaya bago pa man ang lahat, gusto ko po mong ipaabot ang aking taus-pusong pasasalamat sa inyo na patuloy na nagtitiwala, sumusuporta at nagbibigay lakas sa amin upang ipagpatuloy ang magandang nasimulan at manatili sa landas ng marangal at tapat na pagseserbisyo. Ang pundasyon ng kasalukuyang kakayanan ng lungsod na tugunan ang hamon ng pandemya ay nakatuntong sa mga naisulong na nating programa bago pa man tayo pinasok ng COVID-19. We prioritize the health and welfare of our people. Last year, we successfully addressed the African swine fever that affected the livelihoods of hundreds of families. We gave financial aid to 564 backyard hog raisers, and we also granted scholarships to their children. Recently, we partnered with the Department of Agriculture to train them on aquaponics technology as an alternative form of food production, and we will supply them with their initial needs. Pinalawak din natin ang kapasidad ng lungsod na tugunan ang iba't ibang agarang pangangailangan ng ating mga kababayan. The city increased its budget allocation for medicine and supplies by over 400%, the equivalent of 2.2 billion pesos. We also raised fire assistance to 5,000 for renters and 10,000 for house owners. We designed a funeral services package of 25,000 pesos and increased medical assistance up to 10,000 pesos. Sa larangan pa rin ng kalusugan, pinagtuunan din natin ng pansin ang Human Immunodeficiency Virus o HIV. Given that HIV prevalence is highest in our city, we launched Zero at 2030 on World AIDS Day last year. We aim to achieve zero new cases, zero deaths, and zero discrimination by the year 2030. Our program encourages us to know our HIV status and includes testing and treatment capacity in all of our health centers for free. Ang pagsulong ng mga ganitong programa at marami pang iba ay posible lamang kapag mahusay ang pangangasiwa at pagkalap ng pondo ng pamahalaang lungsod. Kaya't pinagtuunan din natin ng pansin ang pagsasaayos ng revenue generation. Our real property inventory and tax mapping operations resulted in the identification of 8,037 taxable real property units with an estimated annual tax due of 442 million pesos. Streamlining efforts through our business one-stop shop, cut red tape, and shorten the process of business renewal. And as of February 2020, business tax payments increased by 958,856,268 compared to the same time in 2019. Bagaman layunin nating lahat ang pag-unlad, iniingatan din natin ang hindi masakripisyo ang kaayusan ng syudad at ang dignidad ng kanyang mga mamamayan. A great example was how we prevented a huge encroachment on our city's prime landmark, a mall development above the MRT 7 station at the Quezon Memorial Circle. We work closely with the national government and all stakeholders for a solution that would protect our park and open spaces while addressing our commuters' needs. Pero habang tayo ay umuunlad, hindi natin dapat isantabi ang issue ng human rights, lalo na ng ating mga kababaihan. Prostitution, human trafficking, and sexual exploitation have no place in our city. We closed spas and massage parlors that served as fronts for these crimes. We gave rescued women the opportunity for better lives. At syempre, kung ang layunin natin ay mapahusay palalo ang mga serbisyong bayan katulad ng mga nabanggit kanina, kailangan talaga nating pahalagahan ang mga kawaning kumikilos para maipaabot ang serbisyong ito sa lahat. Hence, we increased the minimum wage of the city's contractual employees to a livable standard of at least 13,000 pesos. The pay hike was also given to our 256 community health workers who used to receive only a meager allowance from the city in exchange for full-time work. Little did we know that the challenges we encountered since we first took office were meant to prepare us for a much bigger trial ahead. Quezon City recorded its first case of COVID-19 on March 9, 2020. However, your city government had already begun preparing for the pandemic as early as January of this year. Sa simula pa lang, inihanda na natin ang ating mga barangay health emergency response teams at isinailalim sila agad sa matinding pagsasanay. Bumili na rin tayo ng personal protective equipment o PPE para sa ating mga frontliners. We also activated our unified command system to prepare for all eventualities. Nang kinailangang ipatupad ang enhanced community quarantine para pigilan ang paglalaganap ng virus, inactivate natin ang ating kabuuang COVID-19 response. This includes ensuring the well-being of our people. To make sure we had enough resources to do both, we passed 5 supplemental budgets and reprogrammed funding amounting to over 12 billion pesos. We allocated these funds to financial assistance, our economic stimulus package, medicines, medical equipment, PPEs, disinfection, and allowances for our frontliners. Agad din tayong naglunsad ng libreng sakay para sa mga healthcare workers na nahirapan dahil sa kawalan ng transportasyon. Umabot ng halos 50 bus ang pinatakbo ng lungsod araw-araw ng ECQ hanggang sa pagbalik pasada ng mga pampublikong sasakyan. Maraming salamat sa Armed Forces of the Philippines at private bus companies sa kanilang tulong at pakikiisa. Isang matinding hamon sa lockdown ay ang siguraduhing mabawasan ang bilang ng nagugutom. Dito pumasok ang ating COVID-19 Community Support Program. Mahigit 4 na milyong food packs ang naipamahagi natin sa mga residente ng Quezon City at sa mga locally stranded individuals ng ECQ. Recognizing, however, that instant and canned meals were not enough, the city launched Fresh Market on Wheels. Through this program, displaced jeepney drivers, vegetable and fruit vendors, and even farmer partners from Pangasinan were able to sell and distribute their fresh produce to provide for residents in lockdown. This resulted in 25 million pesos generated sales for a period of 3 months for our vendors. Maliban sa pagkain, naglaan din tayo ng tulong pinansyal sa mga lubos na naapektuhan ng pandemya. Through our Kalingang QC program, we gave 2,000 pesos per person to over 607,000 citizens of our city, consisting of PUV drivers, vendors, senior citizens, PWDs, solo parents, lactating mothers, displaced daily wage earners, and other vulnerable sectors. Through the QC Social Amelioration Program, we aided more than 177,000 qualified families that were not covered by the DSWD's SAP. We also launched the Kalingang QC sa Negosyo Wage Relief Program for micro and small enterprises. Upang maproteksyonan ang kabuhayan at trabaho sa Quezon City, naglaan tayo ng 700 million pesos para sa mga qualified micro and small business owners. We were able to provide for the basic wage of 7,536 employees for both micro and small businesses. At first tranche pa lamang ito. Apart from financial assistance, the city made sure that jeepney and tricycle drivers, as well as residents, would have a source of sustainable income during the pandemic. In partnership with Lalamove, Grab, ESET-Go, and Food Panda, we were able to provide employment to some 1,135 individuals. Jeepney drivers were transformed into logistic drivers, and tricycle drivers turned food delivery riders. On average, our food delivery riders earn anywhere from 1,800 pesos to 2,300 pesos daily, much more than what they used to earn. Micro and small entrepreneurs also marketed their wares online through our partnership with Shopee. Our market vendors leveled up too by selling their products through Paleng Connect and Community Mart. These are just some of our efforts to give income-generating opportunities to our people. Our barangays have also been conducting talent profiling for displaced workers in preparation for retooling of skills and competencies. Our efforts include online job facilitation, providing scholarship assistance for contact center training, developing an online skills registry for both formal and informal workers, and promoting self-employment and cooperatives development. Dahil maraming nawala ng trabaho at pagkakakitaan, napakalaki ng hamon sa ating pamunuan na tiyaking hindi magugutom ang ating Q citizens. As a response to the increasing incidence of hunger, we created the Quezon City Food Security Task Force to develop Grow QC, our program for food security. First on the agenda was to intensify our urban farming program. At the height of the lockdown, we distributed seed starter kits to individuals and communities for backyard, container, and rooftop farming. To date, we have given over 36,000 seed starter kits and have capacitated at least 50 new urban farming communities. We have also trained around 2,600 individuals in urban farming as part of our emergency employment program. Habang pinangangalagaan ang sikmura at hanap buhay ng mga taga-lungsod Quezon, kinailangan pa rin paigtingin ang pagsupil sa virus na ito. For this, we continued implementing our winning strategy to conquer the virus: test, isolate, trace, and treat. We were one of the first cities to establish community-based testing centers to ensure prompt detection and surveillance of the disease. Led by the Quezon City Health Department, CBT sites were set up in all 6 districts. In addition, we have testing sites in our 3 local hospitals, as well as door-to-door testing by our city epidemiology and surveillance unit. As of October 11, we have administered about 6,166 free PCR swab tests, more than any other LGU in the country. To increase capacity and reach far-flung areas, we manufactured 2 mobile testing units. This was made possible through the generous donation of the Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry Quezon City Chapter. The crown jewel of our testing program is our own molecular laboratory. This high-tech laboratory can detect not only COVID-19, but also other diseases like cancer, tuberculosis, HIV, and dengue. The 2nd and 3rd floors of the facility have been converted into training and conference rooms, a data encoding section, and living quarters for our medical technicians. Knowing that isolation is key to containment, we were among the first cities to establish our own quarantine facility as early as March 19, aptly called Hope Community Care Facility. With the help of our private partners and caring donors, and of course our beloved councilors, we soon built more facilities, including those initiated by our barangays, and to date have more than 2,000 isolation beds for patients and suspect cases. We also set up a dialysis center exclusively for COVID-19 confirmed patients located at the Quezon City General Hospital, and it now awaits DOH accreditation. Our city-owned hospitals, Novaliches District Hospital, Rosario Maclang Bautista General Hospital, and the Quezon City General Hospital, play a big role in our remarkable recovery rate. To support them, we added beds, procured necessary equipment such as mobile x-rays, ventilators, medicines like remdesivir, and employed more healthcare workers with competitive salaries. Technology also helped us deal with the virus. Telemedicine has made consultation safe and accessible. In partnership with medical professionals and the private sector, we were the first city to launch Bantay COVID, an artificial intelligence technology that allows us to contact trace, monitor cases, and treat patients remotely. 23,000 individuals are enrolled in this system to date. We also focused on prevention. Aside from our aggressive campaign to encourage mask wearing, we have issued countless protocols, guidelines, and health standards to advise our businesses and residents as to how to best avoid the disease. To reinforce containment and prevention, we now have 812 contact tracers with 700 more to come, courtesy of the DILG, and 15 newly procured vehicles. They aim to reach a 1:15 contacts trace standard set by the DOH is well within reach any day now. We have also established satellite contact tracing offices in all our 6 districts. A complement staff from the DRRMO provides logistical support for our CESU. Sa labang ito, napakahalaga ng tamang datos. That is why we partnered with OCTA or Octa Research, a group of prestigious academicians. They provide us vital information pertaining to our COVID status on a weekly basis, thus allowing for immediate and appropriate interventions to lower cases further. One of these interventions is targeted lockdowns. Our city pioneered the concept of special concern lockdown areas. These are areas with high concentration of cases identified by the CESU. These compounds, alleys, streets, or buildings within barangays are placed under strict quarantine. This surgical approach mitigates the spread of the virus while sparing broader areas of the disruption of a lockdown. As of October 7, 66 special concern lockdown areas have been identified and fully supported with more than 24,000 food packs and free PCR testing. More than 1,000 of our recovered patients come from these lockdown areas. Finally, the last vital COVID-19 response is enforcement. COVID-19 related ordinances and guidelines are strictly enforced. CCTV cameras allow us to monitor places of public convergence. Mass re-education of violators of our mask ordinance have been lauded by many. Surveillance of our business establishments continues unabated to ensure compliance of all our protocols and legislative measures. It pleases me to report that our efforts have been recognized by the Department of the Interior and Local Government, and they have included 13 of our innovations among their roster of LGU best practices. We have the most best practices among all the NCR cities. People People say teamwork is the secret to success, and as gold is refined by fire, ours has been forged in the crucible of crisis. When it counted the most, everyone stood up to be counted. While there is strength in numbers, the power of oneness is immeasurable. We worked in solidarity as a community, and we have been unstoppable through the grace of God. Now, while COVID-19 is still very much a part of our lives, it does not seem as frightening and unbeatable anymore. My all-out praises to my executive family. At this point, I would like to acknowledge the unwavering support and dedication of the members of the 21st City Council for the timely approval of the ordinances and resolutions needed to respond to this health calamity. Thank you with all of my heart for the approval of our 5 supplemental budgets. Our city's survival depended on you. Thank you too for passing all the regulatory measures that helped us control the transmission of the virus. Maraming salamat po, Vice Mayor Gian Soto, Majority Floor Leader Franz Pumaren, mga kagalang-galang na mga konsehal at sa lahat ng kawani ng sangguniang panlunsod sa patuloy na pagganap sa inyong mga sinumpaang tungkulin. Tayo man ay nasa loob ng ECQ, MECQ at ngayon GCQ. As the mortal threat of the virus recedes, we turn now to the Herculean task of rebuilding our city's economy. However, even as we revive commerce and increase employment, we need to guard against a resurgence of the pandemic. Thus, it is our objective moving forward to strengthen our public health system even as we bring prosperity back to our city and continue to care for the vulnerable. Bagamat napaamo na natin ang pandemyang ito, hindi pwedeng maging kampante, lalo pa nating palalawigin ang serbisyong pangkalusugan. Our integrated clinic information system will soon enable our health network to efficiently share medical information. Medical services and medicine will now be accessible to all residents in any of our health centers. This system also allows for real-time monitoring of medical inventories for quick replenishment, avoiding shortfalls. Hindi na natin maririnig mula sa ating mga kalunsod ang mga salitang, "Mayor, wala nang gamot sa health center." More than 40 of our health centers are now under rehabilitation to accommodate more citizens in need. We will also add more healthcare workers to staff these newly refurbished facilities as promised. Expansion of healthcare services offered in our centers is underway as well. Several will be retrofitted with a COVID-19 triage area and bed spaces for temporary admissions. In the meantime, if everything goes as planned, our Level 1 hospitals, Rosario Maclang Bautista and Novaliches District Hospital, will have achieved Level 2 status by early next year. As the economy picks up, people will get to work more conveniently with our very own city bus system. The Quezon City Bus will provide 8 routes carefully studied and planned that will cover all districts of the city. It will be reliable and accessible transportation for our people and will ease the traffic congestion through effective use of limited road space. Pero kailangan pa rin nating mag-ingat sa COVID. Our nearly complete no-contact apprehension program will ensure discipline in mobility. The PPP proposal is now in the advanced stage, and Swiss Challenge ends on October 22. With that, I expect this program to be operational before the end of the year with an estimated annual income of 35 million pesos for our city.